Hi guys, we are back with the long-awaited episode of 0 to 1 million AUEC in Star Citizen 3.18.2, where I try out all the different game loops in order to earn 1 million in-game currency. Today, we're going to be doing some Prospector mining, and now I must clarify that I don't really own the Prospector, and if you do want to buy it in-game, it's around like 2 million AUEC. So I'm going to be renting one from Arial 2. You can rent a Prospector from any refinery space station, which are the L1 space stations. And all you got to do is go to the refinery floor, and it's basically in the service shop, and you can rent one from the terminal there. Now, the Prospector is a hefty 50k to rent, but don't worry, it's really quick to earn money back, and it's also a very lucrative game loop. Now, there are some limitations with rented Prospectors in the case that you can't actually swap out the mining laser and stuff like that, so we are going to be limited to what we can mine, but don't worry, I've got a game plan and I'm going to explain everything. But before I do that, I do want to mention that I earned quite a bit of money doing these threat missions, some of which was not money that I actually really worked for, and it ended up just giving out free money even though the mission wasn't running. So I ended up giving 100k AUEC to Mr. Vey, who's one of the viewers that's always watching my videos, so thank you. And I did this just to keep the integrity of this series. But yeah, okay, back to the video. Okay, so for the game plan now, I was doing some research and I found that mining on Arial, Aberdeen, which are moons of Hurston, and Yela, which is a moon of Crusader, are the best surface mining locations for a rented Prospector. Now, I don't know how true that is, so we're going to be doing just that. And mind you, this is my first time mining with any Prospector, so I will be learning as I go and trying my best to explain everything. We will be doing 2 mining runs to each moon, and of course setting up the refinery order, and then we will compare the results in the end in terms of how easily did I find the more valuable minerals and money that we earn from each moon, and also discussing a little bit about setting up the refinery order and which ones you should choose if you're renting a Prospector like myself, or because you don't have a big cargo ship, again like myself. So which one is good for players like me who can relate to me, but we'll discuss that at near the end of the video. Okay, so back to my point of the rented Prospector being limited. What I mean by limited is that it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. It comes equipped with the standard arbor mining laser, which basically means that you can crack most rocks that are around or less than 5,000 mass. Because we'll be mining on moon surfaces for this video, you will come across rocks that have a mass of 3,000 to 8,000, so we'll have to be really keen on which rocks we choose to mine. Also, while Quantanium is the most profitable for mining, it's also very unstable, like many of the minerals that yield a high return, resulting in the charge that you put into the rock to jump around erratically, and if you overcharge it then it will explode, causing your Prospector to blow up with it if you're close enough. That being said, we will still be looking for Baxilite, Terranite, Laranite, and Agricium, but we can make do with like titanium and diamond and stuff like that. Okay, so we're here at Aberdeen first, and I must say the atmosphere is thick, so visibility is low. But like any mining adventure, my first advice is make sure that you get yourself a safe distance away from any jump point so that you avoid players and pirates. And once you get to an altitude of about 2,000 or less, open up your scan mode by pressing B and set the scanning degree to 180 degrees with your scroll wheel, and this makes it so that you're only scanning in what's in front of you. So now I have a bunch of scans that popped up, and what I'm looking for is an RS signature of 1700 or a multiple of 1700. And these RS signatures refer to big rocks that can be mined by the Prospector, and if it's a multiple of 1700 means that it's a cluster of rocks. So if you do scan it, you'd want to primarily pick one that's a multiple of 1700 so that you have a better chance of getting more rocks in the same place, and you don't have to keep scanning over and over again. Once you get close enough to the signal that you're tracing, you will see separate rock icons pop up. The next step would be to scan the rocks to see their mass and what they're made of, where you'll need to get close enough to it, and you can hold down the left mouse button in your scanning mode and it'll start scanning it. But sometimes scanning inside of the scanning mode might not work, so what you can do is press M and that'll activate the mining mode of your prospector, and then when you hover over the rock, it'll scan it for you and show you all of its properties. Okay, sometimes the servers are not so great and the rocks are just being stubborn and the scanning doesn't work, so you can just move to a new rock like I did here, and you will get an audio and visual cue that the scanning has started. So I scanned the second rock here, and you can see that the mass of this rock is much greater than 5,000. So my mining laser will not be able to crack this, and frankly, if I really wanted to, you can bring another friend with the rented prospector and the both of you can try mining this one rock. But since I'm solo, I moved to the first rock here, which had a mass that was suitable for my prospector, and started the mining process. Now the mining process is the same as hand mining or rock mining, where you have to try and keep the charge inside of the green, and if you get it over into the red, the more that it is in the red, the higher the chances are that the rock will explode, and there's a very good chance that your ship might be caught up in that explosion and blow up. So just keep that in mind when you're mining. Nice, we got a good crack on this rock. You will see that you can't actually start the extraction process right away after the first crack, as you would with other mining loops. The rock is now just broken into more smaller parts that you'll need to scan each individual one and determine which of the smaller rocks that you want to crack further to extract from. Deciding which ones to pick can be a bit hard at first, but the general process is you want to target the portions that have higher quantities of minerals that sell for a lot and less inert material. So after a bit of scanning, I chose this one piece that had a lot of diamond, and the one thing to keep in mind is that the general rule of thumb is the more expensive the mineral, the more unstable it will be. So that means that the charge jumps around more and the green zone is also very small, and this just means that there's a higher chance that you'll overcharge the rock and that it'll actually explode. Also, the smaller the rock is, the faster that it'll charge up, so be mindful of the charge that you're actually putting into it. But once you get a good break, that smaller rock will break into even further smaller rocks, and if you see that a small rock piece has a purple hue around it or a purple glow, it basically means that it's being ready to be extracted. And you can activate the extraction mode by pressing the right mouse button, and then you can press the left mouse button again to actually start the extraction mode process. When it comes to deciding what you want to extract, be mindful of the limited cargo space of the prospector, so don't just extract all the pieces that you break, but actually choose the ones that have a great yield percentage of minerals that you can sell. And this process is a bit more intuitive, so the more that you'll do it, the better idea that you'll start to have of which of the pieces that you want to pick up. Okay, so I was looking for more rocks to mine on Aberdeen, and I came across this patch here that someone was probably mining, but their prospector got full, so there were some purple pieces that were left behind. I don't know if they were going to come back or not, but I ended up just extracting it for myself. So I was out on Aberdeen for about 40 minutes and my prospector got full, so I made my way to Arial 1 so that I can put in a refinery order. Make your way up to the refinery deck towards the service shop, but instead of going into the service shop, you want to go up the stairs on the left hand side, and here you'll see two sets of terminals, one where you can sell your raw ore and the other where you can actually set up the refinement order. So here I go to set up my refinement order. I didn't really have any idea of what I was really doing, so I didn't select the right refinement process that I wanted to do. So I kind of just did it with whatever default they gave me. But there are like 6 or 7 different refinement processes that you can do, each varying in the yield that they'll give in terms of what actually comes out of the refinement, but it also depends on time as well. So basically, the longer the process is, the more that you'll gain from it. So I went out to Aberdeen after making that last work order to do another mining run. So let's set up work order number 2. So here I selected all of the minerals and ores that I wanted to be refined, and also unlike my first work order, I actually changed the process to the one that gave the most yield, but it took a very long time to do. Okay, so after setting up the work orders for the 2 mining runs on Aberdeen, I made my way to mine on Arial. I found a nice far enough place to mine, and instantly I was liking it a lot more than I did Aberdeen because the visibility was a lot better. Also, it's always better to mine on the sunny side of any moon or planet, again for the visibility purposes. Anyways, with that being said, let's get to mining. So I got back from my first mining run on Arial to set up a work order. This time I chose to go with the Ferron Exchange one, which is low speeds but still has a high yield. Wanted to see how it would compare to the process that we did for the other one, which was the Dinks Solvention, which is the longest process and also has a very high yield. But yeah, just for comparison's sake, this was my first time trying out all the different processes, so I guess I try to add more variation to see which one resulted in the best yields at the end. But yeah. So I went to Arial once again to do my second mining run, and when I came back to do the refinement, I just went with the Dinks solvention refinement process. Because I was waiting for the other one that we were doing for 19 hours, I thought it really doesn't matter, so I just put it in for 23 hours and let it cook. So now that we were done with the two mining runs on Arial and Aberdeen, I still had some time left with the rented Prospector, so I made my way to Yela. And now I've heard Yela, which is a moon of Crusader, is literally the best for Prospector mining. So I wanted to go check it out for myself and see if we were able to make more money than we did when we were mining on the moons of Hurston, and whether it's actually true that it is the best location. So I'll see you guys there. So I was mining on Yela and I came across this big cluster of quantanium deposits. I think there were about like 10 rocks here that were quantanium deposits. It would have been really cool if I had the right tools to mine this stuff, but since I was in a rented Prospector, I really had no chance of actually cracking this, so I just had to move on. Okay, so I'm done with the two mining trips on Yela, and I just recorded two clips of me setting up the work orders. I made both of them Dinks solventions, which, for those who don't know, it's the longest refinement process, but it has the highest yield. And now it's just a matter of waiting till the refinement is complete, and then we can go sell everything and see which moon actually gave us the best profits. Alright, so now it's on to the selling part. Firstly, I needed to rent the cuddy because I don't have a big enough cargo ship, but you can do this at any service shop rental terminals where we rented the Prospector. But yeah, once you've rented it, we need to go and get it delivered to the station that you're at. For me, it was Crew L1 station, and we need to store it. Now we can go back to the refinement terminals where we put up the work orders, and we can select the work orders that we want and store them into the Cuddy Black, which we then can transport to Orison to sell. So I have two work orders for the mining trips that I did on Yela, and I need to do 2 runs for selling it on Orison because it seems like there's not enough space or storage inside of the Cuddy to just do it all at once. So I'll quickly go do that, and I'll also show you how you can get from Crew L1 to the commodities or the selling shops where you can sell your refinement ores on Orison. So yeah. Alright, so we're here at the trade center, and I'm quickly gonna sell everything that we refined from our mining from Yela and see how much we make. So I start off with 530,000 AUEC, and we will end up with So with that last transaction, we end up with 590,000 AUEC. So just mining at Yela for about an hour, I made around 60,000. Now let's head over to Hurston and sell the refinement orders that we placed at Arial 1. So I'll see you guys there. Alright, so I arrived at Arial 1 and I'm here right now, and I picked up work order 1 and work order 2, which are the work orders that I put in for the Aberdeen mining runs. Mind you, these were a bit smaller because of the type of refinement process I chose, so the yield wasn't so high, so I was able to fit both of the work orders into one run. So now let's head over to Lorville to sell these, and then we can come back for the rest of the work orders from Arial to sell. So I'll see you guys when we reach Lorville. So after selling everything we mined on Aberdeen, we made around 40,000 AUEC, which is very less than what I had expected for an hour's work, but it's probably due to the fact that I chose a very low yield refinement process the first time around because I didn't know what I was doing. So yeah, okay, let's go sell the Arial stuff and see how much we made. Okay, so I just finished selling everything from the refinement processes we made from everything we mined on Arial, and we made around 35,000 AUEC. Again, a lot less than I had expected. But yeah, so I'm gonna put up a chart of how much I made on all three of the moons, and then we can discuss about what went right and what to do better next time and stuff like that. So let's head over to the outro. So here's the rundown of everything. On Yela we made around 60,000 AUEC, Aberdeen 40,000, Arial 35,000, which meant that we made around 135,000 AUEC from mining. But we also got to take into consideration that renting the Prospector costs us 50,000, and also the Cuddy, because I didn't have a cargo ship, which costs us around 30. So in total we spent 80,000 AUEC to get this operation running. That means we only made a profit of 55,000 AUEC in around 3.5 hours worth of work, roughly. So is this rented Prospector game loop really worth it for new players? I would say it's not, because there are a lot of other ways, better ways that you can earn money. And I'm sure that if you owned a Prospector and were able to change some of the mining lasers and stuff like that and go for like quantanium mining, it might be a very lucrative game loop. But for someone like me who doesn't own it and I have to rent it every time, and it's only for 12 hours at a time, it's a lot harder to make a good profit off it, considering I have to put in a lot more costs in order to actually play that game loop. So, you know, if I were to do it again, I would only focus on mining on Yela, because that's where I made the most profits. That's where I was able to find the more valuable ores and minerals. But that being said, it's not something that, you know, I would do again. I didn't mine in the Air and Halo, which I heard is also better for Prospector mining. So maybe in the next video we might explore doing around 3 or 4 runs in the Air and Halo and seeing if we make a profit and how much we can earn from it. But from this video, I think it's not going to be a lot, considering that from the 135,000 we made, we spent 80,000 of it to actually go and mine with the Prospector. And yeah, if I want to do mining, I enjoyed rock mining a lot more than I did Prospector mining anyways, and we made a lot more profit through rock mining. So I would stick to rock mining. But yeah, let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about rented Prospector mining, and if I did the right things, if I could improve next time, or what I should focus on if I want to make an even more profit. Mind you, this was my first time actually doing Prospector mining, so there might be a few things that I missed when it came to stuff that I picked up, or I wasn't really looking at the right things to pick up or right things to mine. But yeah, I mean, I did see that as I did more Prospector mining, I was getting a lot more efficient with it. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then like the video, subscribe if you want to see more of this type of content. This was part 7 of the 0 to 1 million AUEC, and we're gonna be coming out and wrapping up this series soon, and I hope the next 3 episodes. But if you guys enjoyed, once again, like the video, it means a lot, and thank you for joining me for this video too, it means a lot. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.